Hello everybody, this is Matt Calkins with the introduction of Module 3, where we will discuss metabolic pathophysiology. I like to think of this module as the applied version of Module 2, where we will take the information you learned from that module and demonstrate how it can cause pathophysiology. Another good title of this module could be Nutrition-Induced Pathophysiology. First, my disclosures. I'm an investigator in a study that utilizes continuous glucose monitors that are provided by Abbott. Let's recap Module 2. Overall, Module 2 was very heavy on the physiology, including a foundation on postprandial effects of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats on the body. There was an introduction to insulin and insulin resistance, which we will now dive into much more deeply in Module 3. Various hormones and their effects on hunger and satiety were also introduced, along with an excellent micronutrient course from the Linus Pauling Institute. For me, it was remarkable to see the various nutrient deficiencies in the United States, despite the fortification and dietary guidelines. Module 3 is the applied version of Module 2. We will discuss metabolic pathophysiology with a focus on insulin resistance. There is currently some debate whether insulin resistance is caused by excessive adiposity or macronutrient intake, specifically total carbohydrates or fructose or some combination. Regardless, we know that insulin resistance causes end organ damage. Module 3 will focus on this infographic, which was created by Dr. Ben Bikman, a cell biology and physiology professor at BYU and one of the lecturers for this module. The middle circle is insulin resistance, and all circles around it have some aspect of their etiology that is directly dependent on insulin resistance. We will specifically discuss these end organ damages of insulin resistance in Module 3, which will provide you with motivation as we enter Module 4, where we will discuss dietary interventions to reverse insulin resistance and metabolic diseases. Here is a roadmap for Module 3. We will start with a very in-depth, detail-oriented lecture on the intracellular etiology of insulin resistance. Although there is no direct clinical application alone from this lecture, it is important as a clinician to understand the underlying cellular pathophysiology of insulin resistance. Next, for Lecture 2, we will zoom out to the macroscopic level and discuss the carbohydrate model of insulin resistance with Dr. Ted Naiman. Dr. Robert Lustig gives us Lectures 3 and 4, which asserts that fructose and processed foods are the cause of insulin resistance and a driver of cancer and obesity, respectively. Lecture 5 is an SMHP Grand Rounds lecture that was given by Dr. Andrea Salcido that discusses how insulin resistance causes end organ damage to the uterus and the ovaries. Lecture 6 is given by Dr. Ben Bikman, who created the figure regarding insulin resistance and its effects on the previous slide, and he will discuss the pathophysiology of progressing from insulin resistance to frank type 2 diabetes. Finally, we will end with my lecture that discusses how to measure insulin resistance in the clinic and how it can change management. I hope you enjoy Module 3.